We just wrapped 8 days of filming a large portion of my first feature film down at the beach, and I was using the X60 RGB light that Zhiyun sent me to review a lot. It came in very handy. The thing is tiny. It's only the size of my cell phone, even with the battery attached to it, and it was very useful in many situations. And rather than just talking about all the tech specs and everything it can do, I took a lot of behind the scenes footage that I want to share with you to show you how we used it in many different situations during the process of filming. Ran into some issues, especially one with the refrigerator and flickering LED lights in this thing just really made it look good. So stay tuned for that. Let's get into what you can expect from this light. We are filming another scene here, and just to show real quick what it looks like if we were to do this scene with just the lights on in the bedroom. We'd be talking blah blah blah. Doesn't look that great. Everything in the room is lit the same. Don't really stand out from the background, anything like that. So let's turn that off. And with these Zhiyun lights I have, you can control them with your phone. So we have lights set up, I'll show in just a second. But we have one right here to light the face, so then we've got the typical shadowy side of the face and light side. And then also we have another light up here. There we go. And then that gives us the hair light in the back. And I made this more of a cooler temperature since we have sunlight coming in through the back. Obviously it wouldn't make sense that sunlight is coming through the door then around her head, but just when you see that in your mind it makes sense because you see it from the same area. So that makes her stand out from the background. Also for me, it gives an outline to my head here, so we both are standing out from different stuff around us. And as you can see over here, we have that light. That's the X100 up there, and then the X60 is the light that's sitting right there. The app on my phone to turn them off, so we can save battery. And I have a review on this X100 light as well. Very useful. There's lots of cool attachments that you can use on both of these lights, and you can control both of them in the app. Just to show a little bit of that footage, this is what it looked like from the angle of looking at her while I was talking on the phone, and then also from the other side. We had to shift lights around, so originally the light in the other scene was over here to light her face, and so I moved it over here behind her so it would shine on me, and then the hair light kind of coming in from the other side as well as if it was coming in through the window as daylight. Moving on, another cool use we had was this scene right here. We had a scene of the mom character waking up, turning on the light, but this lamp did not give enough light for the room for it to look good. It was still really dark, the footage was grainy. What I did was set up that X60 light with the same color temperature as the lamp pointing at the wall just off screen, and then we hooked it up to the phone, and I had my daughter sitting in the corner ready to turn it on. So we rehearsed a bunch of times, and we had mom sit there and say, okay, she started reaching out, say ready, 1, 2, and on 3 she turned the light, and then my daughter would hit the button at the same time. And that would make it look like it's natural, not like it's really dimly lit or the light's already on and then we turn on the lamp and it would look weird. Another time I used it here, you can't really see on screen, I didn't get a picture of this one, but I was using the computer to light my face, but then you can see this hair light on me. But just off the top left of the screen, I had the light up on a stand. I was using the softbox attachment with the grid inside of it to get a little bit more directional with the light, so it hit the top of my head, lighting me with the same type of color that you'd be getting from the lamps that were in the background. So it's a little more yellow this time, and that just makes you stand out a little bit more from the background, outlining me, and it also outlines my back as well. So looking at the refrigerator scene, see when I open the fridge how it's flickering, and I didn't notice that even with my larger monitor that I was using. I just didn't notice it because I was using a flat picture profile, and those types of things don't really stand out. But then when I started doing a little bit of editing of each scene after we got it, I was like, huh, that's not gonna work out. So obviously I couldn't use that shot, but I have some cutaways to where I'm opening the fridge to solve that problem. So you see that looks really nice. But the problem with that was even when I first did that, I noticed the flickering, so I just changed the shutter speed so that wouldn't happen. But when I first open it, you see how the lighting started flickering. It's fine once it was open, but that transition from the door being closed to open wasn't gonna work because of that flickering. So here's how we took care of that. For a shot opening the fridge, and this was one of the cool parts because we turned the light in the fridge off. It doesn't look like it, but the LEDs flicker on camera and I don't want to change the shutter speed. So what we got in here instead is the Zhiyun X60 with the dome diffusion on it, just shining up in there, and it made it look like a fridge when I opened it. Essentially what I did was just open the fridge from this side so that the camera can't see inside of it, but there's light coming out, lighting my face, and made it look very realistic. And then when I turned around, I left the fridge open and it made a nice little hair light as well. So lighting setups are a pain, but it makes stuff look better. So let's move on to another setup. The lights we were using, show me this one first, over here, look. Oh. So which one is that? That's the Molus X60 RGB little light with the dome on it. Show me that one. Careful with the gimbal. We got a light there, and that is the X100. So for this scene, it took a lot longer than expected. We ended up going into the night, but we still needed to look like daytime. So I had those lights set up outside to get enough light inside the room, but then it made it look kind of flat. As you see, everything's lit kind of the same. So I wanted us to stand out a little more, which is why I had the X60 there with the dome light. It just put a little bit more light on us, brightened us up some, and the shot worked out well. It blended with all the daytime stuff we did. Another one here we had at dinner time. You can see as I'm walking up, we had a main light over on the corner shining on everyone to light them here. But then as we moved up here, I set up on the right side of the frame, there's some light lighting up her hair there, as well as lighting up the back of my hair. And when I turn back towards the camera, it's kind of lighting the other side of my face. And I just had that Zhiyun light set up with the softbox attachment on it as well, just to give a little bit more light to us so we wouldn't be so dark as we got away from the main light and closer to the camera. And in this scene as well, you can see the softbox again on the X60 shining on me. So in this scene, aside from just the laptop lighting my face, mostly we have a little bit of yellow light coming as if the lamp was what was lighting me. And gave some contrast to, you've got a little bit of the blue from the computer hitting the couch, then the yellowish color coming from the X60 from the side. And those lights from the side really help with showing texture and depth, because you can see here all these shadows that stand out on the couch as the light's coming across it, rather than if there was a light straight on, then everything would be lit kind of the same. And those are just some of the ways that I use the light in the filming that we did right now. I didn't use any of the RGB functions because I didn't really need it yet. I was just using it mostly for lamps or daylight and stuff like that, but I do plan on using it in that way in later parts in the movie. But I've shown in other videos how you can use these features for all kinds of cool effects. Like maybe you wanted to have a fire truck going by or a police car, ambulance, something like that. You just have the light go by with the lights flashing in someone's face or in the rear view mirror or something like that. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this, like fireworks, flashes, as if you were sitting in front of a TV. I actually tried using that for one part when we were turning on a TV, but I decided not to because it was daytime and you really couldn't see much of a difference on our faces. But if it was a nighttime one, that would be useful, maybe like a fireplace type effect. There's lots of things you can do to get creative with those effects on the camera. But when you do switch it to that RGB mode, you can go through all 360 degrees of color. You can change the saturation of them. There's so many combinations you can do. And it's even easier when you do it on your phone. You can pull up the app and go through changing the color temperature on the phone. You can go to the RGB mode and pick exactly what color you want. You can actually take a picture of a certain color and have it match that. So there are tons of options you can do with the light, and it's really useful, especially with the battery. In that shot in the room where I had the light on us, I was at 1%. Now if you use the light on full 100%, you're gonna get around 30 minutes of battery life, but I was using it on 1% and had it turned on for like 2 hours and it was still running just fine. It has a built-in fan on the back that'll turn on if it needs, but it's so quiet you're not gonna hear it, especially if you're using boom mics on your set. They're gonna be away from the lights and that's not gonna be an issue, but the fan is really quiet. I didn't ever notice it turning on or off. And you can use the battery power if you want, but most of the time I didn't. I would use the power port on the bottom to keep it powered so I could have it going as long as I wanted, and I'd use the app to turn it on and off as well. The battery does come in handy though for those weird shots you want to do where you can't run lines to it, like in the fridge where I had it set up in there. You can change the color temperature yourself to what you want, the brightness of the light in the app, or there's all kinds of color temperature presets you can do to just easily match to various lighting setups that you have. Like when I was matching it to that lamp in the video when in the scene where mom was waking up. But this light was extremely helpful. I'm looking forward to using it in more unique situations when I keep filming the rest of the movie later on. I have links in the description with the 10% off discount code from Zhiyun that'll help you out with getting this light. This, the X60, the X100 are both a great pair that I've used in filming in this video, especially the app control makes it so much better because aside from being able to turn it on and off easily, when I'm setting the light up really high for those hair light shots, it's really annoying to change a little bit, then go look at the camera and see, oh, I need to change the brightness, go back and turn it. Instead, I can just have my phone on, get the light where I want it, and then start changing the settings there and not having to go back and forth. It saves a lot of time on set, because one of the most time-consuming things was setup and takedown of lights and microphones. So anything to make that go faster is helpful, especially when you have people waiting around, actors standing in place waiting for me to get the light just right. The less time you have to do that, the better. So let me know if you have any questions about it down in the comments. I'll try to help you out the best I can there, and I will see y'all in the next one.